can call me Geekymcfangirl. Welcome to my channel and thanks so much for joining me for a Wreck-It Ralph inspired project. Today we're going to make Ralph's You're a Hero medal.
You can find links for all the materials you'll need for this project in the description below the video. Before we get started, I wanted to give a huge thanks to everyone who makes the Geekymcfangirl channels possible with a pledge of $1 or more a month on Patreon. If you're enjoying the show, click the Patreon link below the video to support the channel. You can also support it for free by subscribing, liking, and sharing. Before you get started, find a picture of the medal online and print it out in the size that you want your medal to be. You're going to use this printout as both a pattern and a reference for the whole project. You will need 2 packages of tan polymer clay for the cookie portion of this project. Take the time to condition the clay before trying to work with it. Make sure it's soft and pliable. Then use your conditioned clay pieces to build a heart-shaped cookie using the printout as a guide for the shape and size. As you work, it's important to keep the clay the same height throughout the cookie. Don't make it too thin, or the baked cookie could bend or even break. I suggest making at least 1/4 inch thick. If you have a lot of clay, the easiest method to make the cookie is to roll out all of your clay and then trim around the shape with a knife. I didn't have enough extra clay to do that, so my process took a lot longer and was extra work. I added small pieces and smoothed them together, working the front and then smoothing the back until my cookie took shape. I think it came out okay in the end. The thing I forgot to do before I baked my cookie was to add a loop of wire on the back for the ribbon to go through. Now is the time to do that before you bake it. Next, it's time to bake your cookie. Bake according to the instructions on your clay package. While the cookie is baking and cooling, it's time to make some icing. There are lots of tutorial videos on how to do this. I tried 2 methods in this video, and honestly, I like the second method better. But here's the first one if you want to try it. Take some small pieces of white polymer clay and mix them with a generous amount of translucent liquid clay. Then smush it all around until the white is mixed in smoothly. You may need to add more liquid clay until you get a consistency that you're happy with. You can see that I used a ceramic dish. But after making this project, I have to recommend doing this on a paper plate instead. The dish ended up being really hard to clean afterward. I wasn't too happy with this method because it took a lot of time and effort to mix the white clay in, and I still had a few chunky areas that I missed. While I waited for my cookie to cool, I practiced making the white letters. My first thought was to write the letters on with a water-based chalk marker. My second option was to create the letters out of tiny rolled out strands of white clay. The clay method was the more difficult option, but I decided it was worth the extra effort because the letters really look like frosting. You can use any method you like to add the lettering. Once your cookie is baked and completely cool, it's time to add the white icing in a thin layer. Make sure to leave some cookie showing around the edge. Then back to the oven for a few more minutes of baking. You really only need about 10 minutes in the oven for frosting. Keep an eye on it so it doesn't go brown. While the cookie is cooling, it's time to make more icing. This time, we'll use the method I liked best. Again, use transparent liquid clay as the base, and then scrape some light blue and green chalk pastels into the dish. Mix them all together really well. Keep adding a little bit of color until you get a nice green aqua frosting. This method was much easier and came out much smoother than the original method of adding small bits of clay. Once the cookie is completely cool, it's time to add the aqua icing in a thin layer. Make sure to leave some white frosting showing around the edge. Set your unbaked cookie aside and work on the sprinkles, making 14 of each color: white, yellow, light pink, and dark pink. Roll small pieces of clay using your picture as a guide. Mine were a little small, but they looked okay in the end. Bake all 56 sprinkles for just a few minutes. The next step is to apply the baked sprinkles to the cookie. Nestle each sprinkle into the green frosting with a pair of tweezers. Use your reference picture to get the correct colors in the right positions. Or just sprinkle them on if you don't care if they're perfectly screen accurate. Then back to the oven for a few more minutes of baking. Once your cookie is baked and completely cool, it's time to add the letters. I did this with small snakes of white clay and a craft knife to cut and shape. It took a long time to create the letters by eye. I started over on the first word 3 times before I was happy with the results. If you're going to use the clay method, be sure to take your time and have patience. You might have an easier time if you make the letters on the paper and carefully transfer them to the cookie. I did that with the letter H in hero and it worked pretty well. I kind of wish I'd done it that way with all of the words. Another idea is to make all your letters on the paper and pre-bake them. Then add them to the cookie with transparent liquid clay as glue. I have to admit that I've not tried that method, but it seems like it might work well. Shout out to my friend Shane for that idea. However you decide to create the words, once you're done placing the letters, bake your cookie for the final time. Because I forgot to put a wire loop in the cookie before I baked it, I needed to glue a pendant loop on the back of it for the ribbon. This is not an ideal solution, but it kind of worked. The next step is to finish the piece with Mod Podge. I decided to give it a gloss coat on the front and back, set aside to dry completely before adding the ribbon. I highly suggest that you get some pink glitter ribbon for the necklace, something like this. I did not have any on hand, so I tried to make some using velvet ribbon, pink paint, Mod Podge, and pink glitter. Honestly, it came out looking like a mess, and glitter got everywhere. Save yourself the trouble and buy pre-made sparkle ribbon. Once you add the ribbon, your Wreck-It Ralph cookie medal is done, ready to wear or to give to your favorite Stinkbrain.
Thanks so much for crafting with me and have fun with Ralph's medal. If you liked this project and you want to see what's coming next, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you would like to watch me live stream my craft projects, you can find me on Twitch. And if you want to support this channel, you can also find me on Patreon. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.